What? You're my mother? That's so cool! Hey guys, DB right here, and I'm here starting with what if Gine's still alive? Now, this isn't going to be the same as my current What If Gine Survived video where she escapes Planet Vegeta and raises her son Kakarot and is a part of the adventures leading up to Dragon Ball Super. We're actually going to be doing this a little bit differently, and the majority of the story is going to be set at some point after the Dragon Ball Super timeline. And so, basically with that, we're going to have to go with post-Planet Vegeta, but just prior to it blowing up, but after Kakarot is sent off-world by his parents, Gine and Bardock. And well, in the coming days, Bardock has since come up with a plan for Gine to get out of there as well. Listen, Gine. When the time comes, I will oppose Frieza and delay him as best as I can. When I fly off, that is your cue to get to a space pod and just get out of here as quickly as you can. Bardock, why are you just letting me go like that? I figure it's about the least useless thing you could do for the Saiyan race. The least you can do is survive and make sure our race lives on. And well, yes, Gine basically, essentially, agrees with this plan, even though part of her sort of feels that if the rest of them are going to go, maybe she should too. I mean, what use is she really going to be out there anyway? She's not particularly strong. She's particularly weak for a Saiyan. In fact, the weakest of her kind at the moment. But, nevertheless, the sentiment of Bardock trying to protect her is sweet enough that she'll go along with it. And she'd go along with Bardock, either way. And so, within the next couple of days, Bardock's fears are come to realize when suddenly a mass of Frieza's forces are being sent down to the planet, and Bardock flies off, and Gine knows that this is her cue to get out of there. She basically scatters. She's just flying her way to a spaceport as quickly as she can. Meanwhile, Bardock is doing his thing, charging through Frieza's men like they're nothing. Frieza! Frieza! Show yourself, you coward! And well, we ultimately know how that ends with Frieza making his appearance, charging up a big energy ball. Gine looks back to see it charging up, but luckily, she does manage to get to a spaceport. It is being guarded by a couple of Frieza infantry, but Gine's actually able to get through them, no problem. They're significantly weak. And managing to get to a space pod, she's up in the air. But DB right, they just detect Gine with their scouters. Not with the mess that Bardock is causing at the moment, distracting everyone. Not to mention all of Frieza's men who are still off board the ship, seeing this massive blast heading towards them. Yeah, no one's really paying attention. Needless to say, Gine gets to the space pod on time, and she's up and out. She had to get out really quick, so she didn't really have time to hit in Earth's coordinates to be there with Kakarot. She just hit the space pod's last known coordinates. And well, the space pod happened to be the same space pod that Bardock arrived in during the whole incident on Planet Meat. And well, so Gine is actually on her way to Planet Meat, which I guess you could say is more of a desolate wasteland, and she does indeed land there to see countless people who were destroyed. And it definitely looks like the work of Saiyans, but it seems, really messy and intact, like everything's destroyed. Even when Bardock and his men would wipe out, countless civilizations, they had to at least try and keep some of the technology, safe. Otherwise, the planet had nothing to offer Frieza. But this was just pure carnage. definitely something Dodoria and possibly even Zarbon did. And well, to her horror, she does find the corpses of the remaining crew of Bardock, Varsha, Shugesh, and Borgos, and of course Tora, all lying there dead. So yeah, I suppose I did sort of combine the Dragon Ball Minor story with the Bardock TV special. But I suppose that doesn't really matter. If anything, I think that makes the story more interesting and awesome. Anyways, however, not everyone on Planet Meat is dead. A couple of children somehow managed to survive Dodoria's attack. So it is pretty well established it was actually Dodoria that wiped out that civilization, not Bardock and his men. Bardock and his men got there later and walked into a trap set by Dodoria. And well, Gine was thinking of destroying the two, but she just couldn't do it. She just couldn't help but in some way see Kakarot through their eyes, in the face of every child. You know, Gine is a soft, kind-hearted Saiyan, and she gave up the life of our military, of being a killer, years ago. She could do it if push came to shove, but it seemed clear that these kids mean no harm. They were just starving children trying to make sense of the horror that had happened to them. And well, Gine just sort of smiles and offers out her hand. It's like, it's okay. I'm not here to hurt you. And well, the children could sort of feel the kindness of her voice. Truth is, I have a little boy about your age. And well, the children do approach her. Like I said, seeing the kindness in her voice, and basically they drag her into a little hidey hole under one of the buildings where they've been staying, and basically eating remnants of little supplies of their food. And well, as for Gine, with a Saiyan appetite, she's doing her best, not to eat them out of all their supplies. But you can imagine that's pretty hard for a Saiyan to do. And well, since this is a desolated world that pretty much has no use to Frieza anyway, it's very unlikely Frieza's going to be coming back here looking for anything or anyone. So Gine has pretty much decided to live out her days here and helping these little younglings survive. She may not be able to help Kakarot survive and may not be able to help Raditz out, but the least she can do is help these little children out. And so, with a little bit of another trip in her Saiyan pod, Gine has basically decided to take on odd jobs to get some, I guess you could say, some space dollars, to get some supplies so she and these little children can keep living on and growing all big and strong. And so essentially, the best way for Gine to do this was essentially become a bounty hunter. So I'll give you a moment to let that sink in. Gine, the bounty hunter. And well, with a few of the space dollars, she was able to upgrade to a better spacecraft than her Saiyan pod. After all, to carry supplies on a ship to a new homeworld, she did need a better ship capable of carrying some cargo. You couldn't exactly cram a prisoner inside a Saiyan pod. So the children had to do their best to survive while she was gone in the meantime, and well, they had plenty of supplies there, at least for now. And well, as it turned out, Gine was quite capable at this bounty hunter work. Luckily, she held on to her scouter and was able to pinpoint her targets like that. And some of the times she did find herself she was outmatched by some of the people she was going after, but this is where a lot of her Saiyan instincts would take over, and she would, you know, if necessary, use the power of the full moon on the planet to help her, if whatnot. She did manage to learn that trick that Bardock could do, you know, making artificial moons. So she at least had that sort of going for her. And, of course, battling would mean she would actually get stronger and raise her power level. So it wasn't a bad thing. In a way, Gine was sort of starting to behave and act a lot like Bardock used to. Not just being a great fighter, but being very intelligent as well. Gine, even though she walked away from the life of a soldier, you know, those years back when she was living on Vegeta, she was now becoming something more. She was becoming a great warrior in her own right. If Bardock could see her now, you know, we would have a third Saiyan child of Bardock and Gine. You know, Barney from my other what ifs. But alas, that is not the case in this story. And well, with Gine being stronger, she is able to essentially avoid any contact with the Frieza Force. She knew to hide her tail and disguise the fact she was a Saiyan as best she could. Especially if there was a Frieza Force patrol on the planet she was visiting. And well, after, you know, every job, she would always go back to Planet Meat and visiting her, I guess you could call them her surrogate children. And, you know, she would always help them out with supplies and eating. And basically, as the years went by, sooner or later, the kids were growing old enough that they could take care of themselves. And decided they wanted to become warriors and help Gine out as bounty hunters in their own right. Just so they're basically pulling their weight. And Gine pretty much agrees with this and comes to training these young children, who are surprisingly progressing pretty quickly, learning ki and all that. Of course, since Gine is not on Earth or anything like that, this would mean she doesn't know how to lower her power level or sense energy or anything like that. So Gine had to do something a little risky. So one day when she's off-world and the kids are off sparring on their own, Gine basically finds and attacks a couple of weak Frieza Force patrolmen. Just a couple of weak ones, you know, a couple of scouts who wouldn't really be missed. And essentially steals their scouters. And well, after finding a really smart cookie, just any renowned smart enough scientist on another planet, they actually managed to modify their scouters so they're not connected to the Frieza Force in any way. In other words, the Frieza Force can't listen in on these scouters. So Frieza's not going to know there's a surviving Saiyan hiding somewhere on Planet Meat, and that there are Planet Meat survivors as well. After all, Gine lost her whole world and essentially lost her family. She's not going to lose this new family. And essentially, things basically have gone well, and considerably, the children were able to go into the business of bounty hunting, you know, on their own. And Gine, feeling strong and confident enough to basically set out on her own without having to worry too much about the Frieza Force, she essentially does that. And she did hear some rumors and words that Frieza was no longer alive, having been taken out. First, the rumor came from that he was taken out on Namek. Not everyone has, you know, the facts straight that he was taken out by future Trunks, but that he was taken out by some sort of Super Saiyan on planet Namek. And Gine did wonder about these rumors, you know, taken out by a Super Saiyan. She did maybe consider that maybe it was possibly one of her boys, but essentially in the end, they were just rumors. She couldn't exactly prove a rumor. That's why it's a rumor. So she essentially shrugged it off. It wasn't until many years later that Gine would actually find out that Kakarot, at the very least, Kakarot was still alive. And this is where we head into the end of Super. Now, if you're thinking that Gine is too old now and into that age group where Saiyans start losing their power, no. Gine still would have about a good 20 years left before that would start to happen. So she still looks like she's in her 20s, even towards the end of Dragon Ball Super. And basically, she was she saw this sort of holographic broadcast of the tournament power. Wait, DB Rai, how would that happen? Surely they wouldn't broadcast the tournament of power. That would start a panic throughout the entire multiverse. Well, yeah, you're right. But remember that one of the universe's fighters were pretty much all machines. And essentially, it's not too much of a stretch that those machines would have recording software, recording the action as it was going on. And so, all it would take is basically, this is after the Tournament of Power, by the way, just a couple of the machines who actually fought in the Tournament of Power actually managed to get recordings of their battles in the Tournament of Power. But hang on, you're talking about the machines from a different universe, Universe 7. How are they able to get to the other universe? Well, again, it's not so much of a stretch to see other beings from other universes going to other universes for like space vacations and things like that. You know, even before the Tournament of Power, some beings from Universe, which one was it? Universe 4, I think. You know, when they showed up and tried their assassination attempt on Lord Frieza. So, we do know it's possible for other people to travel in between these other universes. Whether they need the, Supreme Kai of the Destroyer's permission to do that sort of thing, I don't know. But essentially after Tournament of Power, a lot of people wanted to visit Universe 7, being the winning universe, and the universe that saved all the other multiverses. You know, Android 17's wish with the Super Dragon Balls at the end. And while Gine is watching the holographic battle in this tavern on some planet with one of the warriors who were in the Tournament of Power, well, she actually sees images and moments of Kakarot and Prince Vegeta fighting together in the Tournament of Power. And even the very end of the tournament with Kakarot and Frieza battling together, ultimately to win the whole thing. And Gine is just surprised. She does now have confirmation that her youngest son is indeed still alive. He was the one who beat Frieza on Namek. She does now realize that the rumors were obviously true, and that Kakarot has been alive all this time on Earth. He did manage to pull through. He did manage to survive. Gine is proud as hell. And so, without further delay, she's getting in her spaceship and plotting a course to planet Earth, where she hopes to lay eyes on her son after all this time. And I think that's where we're going to leave things, at least for the moment. So what do you guys think? Did you enjoy this story? Definitely a bigger, bolder approach than most of my what-ifs and stories up to this point. But I didn't want to, just repeat, my what-if Gine survived what-if. I wanted to make Gine do something where we can have a lot more fun with Gine. At least in my opinion. I think this was a lot more fun to do. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys are as a big Gine fan as I am. And I hope you guys all like and subscribe and comment on this video if you have any suggestion, what-if ideas, lay them on me. And I will see you guys again next time. Catch you later.